Hello, my name is Annika Avellino, and today I'm presenting my water sustainability project for this environmental science class. And my presentation is about a straw ban proposal for Port Townsend. Alright, so plastics in the environment, a pollution issue. This is from my first slide. Plastics have infiltrated practically every aspect of modern life, from food containers to toiletries to appliances. While a convenient commodity in some regards, the negative aspects of plastic's afterlife far outweigh the benefits. Of the 9 billion tons of plastic that have been made since the 1950s, only 9% has been recycled. While reusing and recycling plastics are solutions to plastic use, reduction and elimination are the most effective way to rid our waste system, and most importantly, the environment, of plastics. While plastic is everywhere, eliminating it from certain aspects of our lives is not as difficult as it seems. Often it can start with small projects that lead to bigger change. One of these projects that I'm personally working on right now is with my club, a school club called Students for Sustainability. We're based out of the Port Townsend High School, and we work on a variety of local community projects as well as statewide projects. And right now, what we are working on for the most part is a straw ban in Port Townsend, which is our town. So, what we're proposing to ban, to start a small project that could get rid of plastics in PT, our first step. So what we're proposing to ban are single-use plastic straws, single-use plastic stirrers, and commercially compostable straws. And why we include commercially compostable straws is because we don't have commercially compostable facilities in Port Townsend. So unfortunately, they cannot be composted here. And this would be from any businesses located or providing beverages within the city of Port Townsend. So this could be restaurants, food carts, coffee shops, any kind of vendor, and it would also include vendors that would come into Port Townsend for festivals or the fair or other events like that. And yes, anywhere in Port Townsend. So, how do straws affect water sustainability? Straws play a major part in plastic pollution, and while they're a small piece of plastic, while they're a small item, they still play a major role. 500 million straws are thrown away each day in the world. That's equal to 127 school buses filled with straws. And that's 46,400 school buses full each year that are all thrown away. Of this 46,400, 2,000 tons of straws are additionally thrown into the ocean. So, of that 46,000. And I didn't include that on my slide, but that's something we presented to City Council recently, is that fact as well. And they're also in the top 10 worst plastics found in marine litter, and this is due both because of their frequency as well as their shape and size. Because straws, they have that small shape, they're very prone to getting stuck in animals' noses or pores, and they're just very invasive because when they break down, they're colorful and they look like food. Additionally, they are the 7th highest polluter by item in the ocean. So while they don't make up a large percentage of waste by weight, by item, they are the 7th, which means they're really a high priority on our list of things we need to deal with. So, how do straws affect Port Townsend specifically? We are a small maritime community, and because of this, what's in the ocean affects us. Local businesses are affected by pollution, and we even interviewed several businesses before implementing this ban to see how they were affected. So one of the businesses we talked to about plastic pollution in Port Townsend was Cape Clear Salmon, and they told us that plastic pollution negatively affects their business in many ways, such as the plastic that gets caught in their nets and in their fish, and they see plastic pollution a lot on their day-to-day with their business. So this is an example of how, even in our community, we can directly see these effects. And recently, for the past 4 years, in the past 4 years, I've organized 2 beach cleanups. Each cleanup yielded 500 pounds of trash, and one item that was particularly prevalent that people noticed were straws. And even in Port Townsend, we can visibly see that straws make up a big portion of our problem here, and it shows that it makes up a big portion of plastic in the world, so we are a representation of what's going on everywhere else too. So, some questions we've had to research. With our plan of this project, we've talked to a variety of different interest groups and people in our community to see how we can best address their needs. And some questions that have come up were, what would businesses use instead of plastic straws? And are reusable or sustainable straws more expensive than plastic straws? Another one is, how will we enforce this ban? That was a question that was asked by our club advisor as well as city council. And how will the removal of single-use plastic straws affect the complex healthcare needs community? So here are some solutions we came up with. So there's many alternatives to plastic straws. And this can be a variety of different materials, such as paper, avocado pit straws. I didn't know those existed for a long time. We tried them out the other day. They work very well. Silicone straws, metal, wheat, glass, bamboo. So those are a variety of reusable straws and also single-use straws that are just made of sustainable materials. And no straw is also an option for businesses. Financial considerations. So this was a big one when businesses that haven't switched were curious about how this would affect them financially. So we did some math and some research. The one thing we found about straws, paper straws, is that they often cost as little as 2 cents more per piece, which, while it's not very much in the long run, and businesses also said that despite this difference, they found that the feedback they got from customers was always really positive when using paper straws instead of plastic. Additionally, switching to reusable straws, which is even better than paper straws because no waste is better than any kind of waste. This can even save businesses money in the long run. And excuse me, this is where we did some math about this. So we calculated metal straws, which can be purchased for less than 50 cents a piece, which, saying that a business uses about 500 straws a day, this could save around $1,000 per year for businesses, give or take. And this was a calculation that showed a lot about how environmental considerations are not only just good for the environment, they're also good for us financially, hence the tiers of sustainability. So, another solution, our ideas for enforcement. We based a lot of our ideas for enforcement on the Edmonds and Del Mar straw bans, and we looked at their ordinances as well as interviews about officials that made this straw ban. So our ideas were that the enforcement could be based off of 2 different tiers, and the first tier would be a citizen report, or a form on the city website for a citizen complaint. And we kind of inspired that partially off of the New York idle ban that relies on citizens to report people who idle for more than 5 minutes to the city, and it serves as a way for the community to play a part in this stewardship. And the second tier is the Port Townsend Code Enforcement Officer. So this would be the person that goes around and does health safety, food safety checks in restaurants, and in addition to their checks of their to-do list, it would add a check for straws and seeing if businesses had plastic straws still in their facilities. So how this violation enforcement would work. Of course, we want to give businesses enough time to get rid of the plastic straws that they have already. We don't just want a bunch of straws going into the garbage, obviously. But so what we would plan is a grace period. And this grace period would allow 6 months for businesses to use up the rest of their straws in their restaurants. And on top of this, we would also have a variance in special circumstances. So let's say a business had way too many straws to use even in 6 months. They could write a special request to the city to have this extended for them to reduce waste. So then on top of that, before enforcement, of course, we would promote education. We would send letters to businesses and hopefully go around and do one-on-one talks with businesses as well. And but after education and this grace period is over, first businesses would get a warning if they still had straws, and this warning would come in the form of a letter from the city. And additionally, if they didn't managed to get rid of straws in 2 more weeks, they would get a $100 fine for their restaurant. And in 2 more weeks, if they still had straws, then it would be a $250 fine. And every 2 weeks, this $250 fine would repeat. So we talked in depth about this with the city attorney, Heidi Greenwood, and she thought this would be a really great way to enforce the straw ban in a way that's solid and that people would be aware of without totally depleting businesses of a lot of money. But it's definitely a big enough chunk of money that businesses would not want to pay this fine. Additionally, after the 250 repeat fines, there's a 2-year reset period where people can be violation free and the warnings will start again. And that's just to compensate for maybe a change in management, people didn't know about the straw ban, or just sometimes people forget. So that would be a way to compensate for the re-education, but still instilling the issue of plastic use. And this money from the fines would go into the general fund of the city, which is often used for park maintenance and other city management like that. Alright, so another solution. So the complex healthcare needs community. We wanted to be considerate of individuals with special needs who often need straws. And so because of this, we made it in our ordinance that nursing homes, care centers, and hospitals would be exempt from this ban. However, these facilities will also be encouraged to switch to straws made of sustainable materials if possible. It would be great if the hospital could switch to paper straws or even reusable straws. So that will definitely be an encouragement in our ban. Timeline. So, Students for Sustainability has been working on the straw ban since May of last year, and this is when we started doing education. We started letting the community know that we were wanting to do this ban, and this is when we started getting signatures, and we started getting signatures on paper where we'd walk around to local businesses and get signatures. And in addition, we also made a petition on change.org where we gathered almost 800 signatures. And in total, we have 1,500 signatures combined with paper and online signatures. Since then, we gather every Tuesday to meet and work on the ban, as well as our other projects in SFS. We've also met twice with city council members to present our project, and our last meeting with them was a workshop where we got to touch up on the details of the ordinance. And this first meeting that we had to present our idea was in December, and this workshop was in March. And we've also met 5 times with the city attorney to write ordinance. We will be meeting again with City Council in April for what they call the second touch on the written ordinance of the ban, and if it's approved, we will announce the implementation of it on Earth Day, April 22nd, which is perfect timing. After this, we will send a letter to local businesses about the financial and environmental benefits of the switch, and then the 6 months grace period will be enacted, and then the ban will be enacted. So this is really just the beginning. Many people bring up the fact that straws are just one piece of the plastic issue, and this is something that Students for Sustainability really understands. 8 million tons of plastic enter the ocean every year, and straws are only part of this piece. However, we're hoping that for Port Townsend, we can create legislation that helps legislate other plastic bans. So coming back and banning flatware or to-go containers is the next step for us. And straws are just the first step of this to inspire this change. We also hope to be a model for other communities, showing that this is possible for all towns of shapes and sizes. Seattle has recently switched to a straw-free city. So if Seattle can do it, we can do it too, and we want to inspire other small towns to make this change. And especially because we're a maritime community, this is the crucial step to take.